Akka Arrh. It's how pirates place bets. It's also the new physical game release from Atari, developed by Llamasoft and exclusively distributed by Numskull Games, the latter of which has kindly provided me with a copy of the Nintendo Switch version for us to take a look at today. And I must stress a warning for viewers, there are many flashing lights all over the place. Such is the crazy nature of this game. So this has history. Akka Arrh was originally developed by Atari in 1982, but never saw release due to the poor reception it got from field testing. Only 3 physical arcade cabinets were ever known to exist, and the owners seemingly refused to publicly release the ROM, yet somehow it escaped into the wilderness, and the prototype became available to download. Myth alleges that it was stolen by a technician employed to fix the owner's machines, who then dumped the file online, but accounts are unverified. Anywho, a whopping 40 years later, who enters the arena? None other than Jeff Minter, designer and programmer for Llamasoft, widely known most notably for Tempest 2000 on the Jag. Jeff picks up this abandoned Akka Arrh and transforms it into his own baby, which sounds hideous, but you know what I mean. And this is the modernised recreation. Akka Arrh was previously released last February in digital format, including it on the Atari VCS, which was a humble fitting, but allow me to reveal this special physical edition, which comes packed in a nice presentation box and includes the game, a set of stickers, the art of which was designed by Butcher Billy, the famous Brazilian artist, and the lovely treat of 2 cut-out card cabinets of what Akka Arrh may well have looked like in the arcades. Stay till the end to see these butchered and assembled by me. Now, prepare your eyeballs for a frenzy. Believe me, I didn't have a clue what to do on my first couple of goes, and I'm a clever man. That means you won't know too. You're given some brief, often hard to read, on-screen instructions, but really it takes a few stabs at it to get your bearings and get to grips with how everything works yourself. You don't just pew-pew everywhere, like it may appear from this footage. Allow me to explain. You've got 2 main weapons, bombs and bullets. You are the Sentinel, the head in the centre of the screen. You remain stationary, fixed in the middle, aiming your star cannon, which is called the Akka Arrh. Aha! Dropping a bomb creates a funky shaped wave that eliminates foes who enter its growing path as it ripples outwards, which causes the foe to then create a wave of their own, destroying further enemies in a chain. The fewer bombs you use, the higher your score, so you'll be aiming to strategically place in time singular bombs for maximum destruction. Shooting bullets does not reset your combo chain, but using a new bomb does. Successfully chaining kills from bombs grants you bullets, thus they are in limited supply, thus you can't just go guns blazing, or you'll run dry very quickly. Meanwhile, some enemies and projectiles can only be destroyed by bullets, and bombs are useless. Got all of that? Yeah, need to experience it a few times to get the feel really. But Akka Arrh's ammunition and scoring system is certainly a refreshing mechanic that ditches the button mashing tactics deployed in alternative space shooters and makes the player think and approach each level differently in a novel way, raising the question of what will you prioritise? Bigger immediate score with extra risk, or score through sheer survival? The epilepsy warning when you fire the game up is no joke. Never has a light warning been so necessary, it's madness. To the extent those with tongues in their cheeks have dubbed it Polybius 2. Maybe Akka Arrh were the final words of the original Polybius player before they fainted and were taken away by men in black for further testing. To be clear, I'm kidding. You're probably wondering where the name Akka Arrh actually came from. Well, the prototype was made by Atari's Mike Halley and Dave Ralston, and it's a sort of alterated acronym of the words also known as another Ralston-Halley production. So there you go. The graphics are trippy, psychedelic, abstract, euphoric, all of the words. It's Operation Stimulation Overload. Packed with intense colour and more flashes than a nudist camp, you'll feel like you've taken some sort of hallucinogenic drug and someone's plopped a controller on your lap. You become fully immersed as kaleidoscopic patterns pulse larger and larger, covering your screen as they explode like fireworks in waves of eye-watering geometric shapes that hypnotically form before you. At times you're tempted to just sit back and drink it all in. And then you die. Audio-wise, the music and sound reacts to your play and is minimalist and tranquil, in total contrast to the overwhelming visuals, whilst voices that shout "OK" and "Brilliant" add to the arcade feel. The game almost confuses your emotions, in that it manages to simultaneously be chaotic and yet somewhat therapeutic. You can turn down the visual intensity by selecting the subdued option from the menu, but as I demonstrate here, it's still pretty darn flashy even with it on. There should probably be an option to tone it down more. I predominantly played on subdued mode merely to see the projectiles easier and give myself somewhat more of an advantage, and you'll need every advantage you can muster, trust me, as I'll get onto. If a foe reaches you before you pew them, they'll infiltrate your base where you keep your pods and rings, which are essentially your lives. When this happens, you'll swiftly need to switch plane and shoot the invaders to save your pods, then switch back up to keep protecting. Lose all your life pods and it's game over. And get used to seeing that. While the aim of the game is getting a high score, its genesis is the arcade after all, merely surviving whilst having absolutely no regard for your score is a huge challenge alone. This is serious get good territory. Then when you get good, get better. Because you'll need to survive, let alone worry about your high score on the online leaderboards. It didn't stop being enjoyable though, which is the main thing. It creates replay value, and I was always hooked back in for more of the 50 levels on offer. On that note, Akka Arrh has two game modes, Best and Pure. Pure makes you play through the beginning stages to the end, which is even more unforgiving than the already brutal Best mode, where you can pick up from any previous level and try to improve on your score and lives, and carry on from there. So, for example, if you're struggling on level 13, you can go back to level 10, die less often than the first time you played it, and have more pods when you get back to level 13 again. You can try to complete that really tricky level you're stuck on with only 1 or 2 pods, but the reality is you're probably going to have to go back to previous levels and keep more of your lives up until that point again to get through. There is an element of luck, as I for one couldn't keep up with everything going on this screen. Look at it. The game has the hallmarks of Yak in not only with its in-your-face vibrant visuals, but the game is sprinkled with stinky ox humour in the little messages in game and menus. And shout out to Ivan Zorzin, by the way, the other half of Llamasoft, who also deserves credit for porting Akka Arrh to all of the different formats. Which sounds like a task. A couple of minor gripes are that they could have included maybe the original prototype on here as well, with some image gallery of the history behind it, or something like that to make it feel really complete and all of the Akka Arrh stuff in one place, especially considering the original game is available to play on the Atari 50th anniversary celebration. So check that out if you're interested in seeing a difference. Also, the original game utilised a trackball controller. Obviously I'm playing with Switch Joy-Cons, and sometimes I feel the movement of the reticule could be faster to be more in time with my reactions, like a mouse would be. The Switch touchscreen isn't compatible for control either. They could have potentially added analog stick sensitivity options to make your cursor swing round faster, which maybe, if they're watching, they could add in an update patch. Overall though, Llamasoft deserve credit for reviving Akka Arrh and for their innovations that made this game a finished, satisfying modern title officially available for all. More accessibility options to turn down the graphical intensity, more exploration of the prototype itself, and options to increase movement sensitivity would have rounded up things perfectly. But as it stands, the stunning psychedelic visuals, tranquil sounds, and enjoyable gameplay makes for an immersive, trippy, fun experience, which I recommend you check out, especially if you like Llamasoft, but even if not, it's worth experiencing this revived Atari game from history. So, if you really want to Akka Arrh, the game is releasing right now, today, 30th of June 2023, for PS4 and Switch, with a PS5 version coming on the way, so click that link in the description. And leave me alone, Spice Girls litigation team. It was a joke and I have no money for you. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more Sorax.